Morning, everyone.
Yes, I'm Felicia Cowden. Thank you guys for coming in. This is from Councilmember Holland and I. We just came back from the National Association of Counties in Philadelphia, so it has some overlay on this. And when we were there, I was in the Veterans Services Committee, and we talked about how much we appreciated the Coast Guard. So, a little out of breath because I just ran up the stairs. On Monday, it was the 235th birthday of the Coast Guard. And generally I don't read a certificate, but I actually learned a lot, both in Philadelphia and in reviewing your stuff. So I actually want to read it. The Council of the County of Kauai hereby presents this certificate to the U.S. Coast Guard Station, Kauai, recognizing the 235th birthday of the U.S. Coast Guard. The Kauai County Council congratulates the U.S. Coast Guard and its illustrious history as they celebrate its 235th birthday on August 4th, 2025. The U.S. Coast Guard's origins traces back to August 4th, 1790, when President George Washington signed the Tariff Act, authorizing the construction of 10 cutters to enforce customs laws and prevent smuggling. Today, August 6, 2025, it is our great honor to recognize and thank the U.S. Coast Guard Station, Kauai, for safeguarding our island shores, rescuing those in peril, and protecting our marine resources. The presence of the U.S. Coast Guard in Hawaii began in 1849. This marked the beginning of the U.S. Coast Guard's maritime protection in the Pacific. The U.S. Coast Guard's history in Kauai formulated in the early 1900s with the merger of the Kilauea and Nanini lighthouses. The U.S. Coast Guard Station Kauai had operations since 1941 and has been a valued partner for many decades. Since 2004, the U.S. Coast Guard Station Kauai was established with a variety of boats, complemented with 2 45-foot response boat medium vessels and 22 personnel. In 2008, the Marine Safety Detachment was instituted to regulate the numerous commercial inspector vessels that populate much of the marine fleet, along with investigating marine pollutions, casualties, injuries, vessel accidents. Since October 2021, the U.S. Coast Guard Station Kauai has launched numerous search and rescue assists, including 70 distress swimmers, 2 downed aircraft, 53 disabled, capsized, or overdue vessels, a medevac case off a commercial fishing vessel, as well as various cases involving kayaks, outriggers, kite surfers, and crime abatement, especially in our drug problem that we have. So thank you very much for that. The Kauai County Council highly commends and recognizes the U.S. Coast Guard Station Kauai, BMC Kevin Chapman, officer in charge, and the station's exceptional personnel. Known as the Guardians of the Pacific, the Kauai County Council greatly appreciates the long-standing presence of the U.S. Coast Guard Station Kauai for safeguarding the island, its people, and serving our marine community with unwavering dedication. Mahalo nui loa. And I always think of how important you guys are with the rescues. Councilmember Holland, do you want to add something?
I just want to echo my gratitude for all you gentlemen and ladies and the work that you all do to keep us safe. I think, particularly all your emergency response is so critical to Kauai, and, being an island in the middle of the ocean, we desperately need you guys' services sometimes. And so, yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for, efforts against drug smuggling. Thank you for all of your emergency response. Really appreciate you and honor your history here. Thank you.
And can we have, I don't know what BMC actually stands for, but can we have BMC Kevin Chapman come up, and if you want to bring another person or two, but yourself, and just at least share what you have to, if you have something you'd like to share, because this is a big deal, and I didn't know that you would sit right here, and you're going to push this little button right here, and you're going to do the same. I didn't know that the Coast Guard predated the Navy, And it's sort of interesting that, you know, it was our first president, George Washington, that put it together. So please share what you would like.
Well, thank you, council members. We are the longest sea-serving service or military service in the U.S. military. We thank you so much for what Kauai brings to the table, the local partners and all the group participation for search and rescue cases, law enforcement cases. It's been exceptional over the last, I don't know how many decades or centuries, but it's been pretty amazing. And since I've been here for a month, I've experienced so much warmth and welcoming, and I see the great cooperation we have together. And I can't do it without my crew, without Mr. Wall, who's also the Marine Safety Division warrant. So,
yeah.
You have anything else beyond?
Thanks, Chief. I've been here for 2 years, and
What's your name?
BM1 Chad Kiffin. I'm the Executive Petty Officer at Station Kauai. So just the communication and partnerships we have with the fire department, lifeguards, police, every case we have, we're working with dispatch and the EOC, and it's just been a great partnership in the 2 years that I've been here as well. So thank you.
Yes.
Chief, how are you and your wife settling in?
Well, we got our stuff. We're still. We've been at the beach quite frequently.
Okay.
We've been burning up quite a bit. So we came from Alaska.
Yeah.
Before that, I was in Maui. So we've been definitely taking advantage of the beach and the outdoors and everything we can do.
Nice.
And we love it here. We love the community. Everybody's been awesome.
Yeah, I haven't seen you since you swore in, so I'm just making sure you're doing
I'm a lot more
right.
tan now.
Yeah. It's nice to see you. Thank you again.
Well, thank you so much.
Does anybody else have anything they want to share?
I'll just say thank you for doing a certificate, and thank you for being here. And congratulations. Yeah, I think there's a lot that is unknown about the Coast Guard. I think some people even don't realize that the Coast Guard is part of the military services here in the United States, and just appreciate what you all do. Most of what you do go unrecognized. Most of it go unrecognized. You see the chopper or the ships, and in my previous careers, I had the opportunity to work in partnership with you all in law enforcement, and I think maybe 3 times. One was we actually seized the boat at Honolulu Bay. I still was watching you guys operate. You probably weren't even born, but just watching how they operate. That's when I realized that you guys were more than just checking people if they had lifeboats in the boats, and then a couple more times more recently, and just impressed. The way they operate here, obviously a military organization, military structure, and it was just refreshing to see, and I'm glad for the certificate because it will allow people to realize that you guys play such a vital role throughout the world, really. So thank you, and congratulations, and welcome to Kauai.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Should we take a picture?
Absolutely. Oh, public testimony. I see Lonnie raising his hand.
Okay. Would you like to come up, Lonnie, and testify?
I'd like to thank the council for doing this proclamation for the Coast Guard. I'd like to thank the Coast Guard personally. I was a 19-year-old deckhand in Kaua'i Basin and watched the oil come out of the sewage outfall and kill all of the bait in the boat next to me, which is the guy I always got my bait from. And I called the Coast Guard. They had been down just months before and delivered to every single boat in Kaua'i Basin the placards required by law for the Clean Water Act. And so I read everything, I listened to the speech they gave me, and the Coast Guard came down to Kaua'i Basin, watched the oil come out, called up, they had a map of the sewage lines, and 20 minutes later we're at the construction site where they were servicing the heavy equipment and dumping the used motor oil into the storm drain. So tip of the hat, thank you very much. They are efficient and on it for pollution. A year or two later, I was on a fishing boat about 30 miles south of Diamond Head that sunk, and tip of the hat, our radios were out because of our sinking. They actually were called by one of the tugboats that hauled pineapple from Lanai to Honolulu, and about 2 o'clock in the morning they came out and rescued us. Thank you very much. Whether we would have died or not, that was in the hands of God, but we certainly were rescued by the Coast Guard. So thank you very much for everything that you do, and I acknowledge that you seldom get the public praise that you deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. I had one last thought too. We wrote this before this past week, but we had our tsunami drill, and I would say overall our emergency services went really well. But the role that the Coast Guard would have played if that wave had really hit with any force